What's up, guys? Welcome back for another video. It's another end of the year video. This time around, we're actually going to do our top 3 most disappointing. These aren't necessarily the worst movies of 2018. They're just necessarily the ones we were most disappointed in. Once again, we're doing separate lists. We're going to compare them as we go. I've not seen his list. He's not seen mine. I can only think of one movie that might be on both our lists. Because I'm pretty sure you completely forgot about one of these movies I put on here. But I think we're going to just jump in. Start at number 3. And what did you put on your list?
Bumblebee.
Still haven't seen it. I didn't even know it was out. I still had weeks till it came out.
I mean, it's not awful. It's better than most Transformers movies.
Yeah, like we said, it's not the worst movies. It's just the
But
ones we were most disappointed in.
but the trailers made it look really good,
Yeah,
and then it was just kind of meh.
I could see that. I definitely could.
Like a bunch of the Cybertron stuff was cool,
Dude, the trailers, the Cybertron stuff looks so badass.
and the characters were all right. And it didn't have a lot of action, and
Oh yeah, I think they were trying to stray away from that though.
the
Because
story
that
was
was the
just
problem
kind of.
with the Michael Bay movies was all action that didn't exactly look amazing, and then very terrible plots.
Yeah.
I kind of wish they just flat out reboot everything and start over. Which, did you ever figure out that's a reboot, by the way, by watching it?
I can't tell. I don't know. I don't think so.
The story is so fucked in the Transformers
Yeah, it's
right now.
weird.
I honestly wish they just reset everything, start over, and just start from Cybertron and work its way down to Earth. Because that's honestly what I want to see.
It'd be nice.
I'd rather see a Cybertron movie at this point. I'd rather see 2 or 3 Cybertron movies.
A trilogy.
I know it would cost a lot, but
And then get them to Earth.
I don't want to see one person try to tell me they ain't got the money to make that shit. Please. The amount of money those movies have made over the years, there's no
A
way.
Cybertron movie would make a ton of money too.
I would go see a
People would
Cybertron
actually
movie.
want to see it.
As long as the CGI wasn't shit, I'd like to go see it. Which usually they do alright with CGI in those
Yeah,
movies.
CGI looks
Except
good.
the first couple, they really messed up by making everyone look the exact same. That wasn't, the Autobots. All the Decepticons, you couldn't tell them apart except for Megatron.
At least everyone looked different in this movie.
Yeah, that's
So
one
that
of the
was
things I like
cool.
most about the trailer. Everyone actually looks like their actual TV show counterpart, which was really nice when I saw Soundwave and all them in the trailer. I guess we'll start on my list. My number 3 is going to piss you off. I have Tag at number 3.
I enjoyed that movie quite a bit.
It's funny. It's got its really good
Yeah.
parts, but that movie, when it peaks, is really good. But when it hits its low points, it's low. It's real low. And you had hyped it up a lot before I watched it. So I finally sat down and watched it. And I couldn't even finish it in one sitting. I had to split it up because I got bored. Because, the parts where it gets real funny are great. But the plot twist at the end just pissed me off because it was kind of stupid. It really ruined the tone for the whole movie by doing that. And I feel like they had changed that in the midst of shooting.
It's based on a true story. It's what actually happened.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels wrong. Like, the story feels off because of it. Like, I get that it's based on a true story. But I think they should have let that go earlier in the movie than at the very end. Because it makes the movie, like, they're trying to leave it off on a happy note. All I can think of is that dude's dying. Does no one else realize that dude's dying? Am I the only one that sees that guy is dying?
They all realized he was dying.
Yeah,
It was just, you gotta be happy, even when you're dying.
I don't know. I like the true story behind it, necessarily. And I like the clips at the end of the actual story happening in real life. Like, that was really cool. But other than that, no, just wasn't blown away by it. Had a good cast, too. That's another thing. The only one who did it really great. Honestly, most of them did pretty good.
The cast was great.
I don't know. It's kind of mediocre for me. Like I said, it's not necessarily bad. I like it. I'd watch it again if someone wanted to watch it. I'm never going to go out of my way to watch it again, but it's one of the things that wasn't exactly as good as I thought it was going to be. What did you put at number 2?
Jurassic World 2.
I called that. I knew you were going to have that on your list.
Yeah, it was rough.
See, my thing is, with that movie, I went in thinking it was going to be fucking terrible. Like, I had no hope. But
I at least thought it would be good. I mean, I like the first Jurassic World.
See, I think I actually might have preferred this over the first Jurassic World for the simple fact that going into Jurassic World, I had such high hopes, and it didn't live up.
Seemed like a rehash of 2.
Well, I'm starting to feel like
version.
I'm feeling like that's going to be the theme of this trilogy, except for the third movie. They're going to write something brand new because they realize the third movie in the Jurassic Park series is probably the worst of all the Jurassic movies, easily, because that movie's shit. That movie's complete shit.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's terrible. I mean, it's not amazing. It's not. It's kind of mediocre to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of it is I went in with the lowest hopes you could imagine. Like my hopes were so low. So when I went in, I was like, yeah, it's got parts that are good.
Yeah.
It's enjoyable. CGI looks great.
Yeah.
They even went back to using less CGI in certain parts and more practicals even, which those parts look great.
It was just a dumb story with the...
I mean, they basically took 2's story and made it worse.
Yeah.
They took out the best parts about 2.
Right.
And
then added a whole new story that was stupid.
They're using, I think his name's Henry Wong, the professor from that they've been bringing back the last 2 movies, and slowly turning him to almost the main villain of the franchise. And I'm like, why that guy? Yeah. No one would have picked that guy when they saw Jurassic Park.
Not interesting whatsoever.
Not one of like all the other bad guys we've been introduced to at this point have died. Like the first movie, main villain dies. Second movie, main villain dies. So, are you talking about Henry Wong is the main villain of this franchise? Because if so, that's fucking stupid.
Is that his name?
I think is it Henry Wu? It's
Wu.
I think it's Wu. I think you're right. I think it's Wu.
I don't know, maybe.
It's something like that. I can remember his name. Like I said, I didn't even... When they put him in Jurassic World, I sat there, I was like, was he in the first movie? And then I went back and watched it, I was like, oh, he was in there for 30 seconds. That's right. I don't understand why that's the character they've decided to bring back and make huge, instead of bringing back any of the other people from the old movies and casting them and, picking up with their characters. We got Ian Malcolm for 5 minutes, if that, and basically just one scene split into 2 parts, different ends of the movie, which was just stupid, honestly. I'd rather them bring back Grant and do some cool cameos with him. Do you want to hear my number 2? I have, at number 2, The Strangers Pray at Night.
That's a good one. Yeah, or a bad one.
That movie pissed me off. We have a review of that on our channel, actually.
Yeah.
And that movie just pissed me off.
Going back and rewatching it, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
But it's still disappointing.
Okay. If that movie had not used the strangers' masks and just subbed in different killers that were more generic, I honestly probably would have liked it better. But when you take... I love the first Strangers a lot. It's one of those movies that's 50-50, again, where people either really love it or they really hate it. And the first movie is written so well and it's so terrifying. So then when they completely fucked all that out and said, let's make an 80s slasher movie out of these characters, completely ruined it for me. Not to mention, don't even get me started on all the shit. I bitched about it in the review so much. The place makes no sense. The layout of the setting for that movie literally makes zero sense. Oh my god. Ran to the right. Came back from the left. What? They ran boom, boom, boom. But when they went back to that same spot 2 minutes later in the movie, they had to... I was like, what just happened?
And none of the characters were really interesting, and it wasn't even really scary whatsoever.
I don't think there were any real jump scares.
I mean,
was there one? There's one, I think.
I mean, there's a few jump scares, but none that are like...
there's one that's kind of bad, if I remember right. It got me kind of good.
But it's not like overly creepy and just makes you scared.
It's not. The settings, it's goofy more than anything to me.
Yeah.
I won't lie though. That golf club scene still gets me every time. That's my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah.
And honestly, if the whole movie was wonky and goofy like that instead of trying to be scary, I'd probably like it better. But I was disappointed in shit in it. I was not happy.
Yeah.
So what was your most disappointing movie of the year?
Cloverfield Paradox.
It's funny because it's mine too, actually.
Yeah, that movie.
I was pretty sure that was the one we were going to have in common.
Yeah.
So right when you said that, I was like, oh well, yeah, that was pretty easy.
That was honestly awful.
That movie's just bad.
It's bad.
Like, I think we filmed a review for that at one point and just gave up on it because it's that bad.
It just doesn't make any sense. The tone, it's like 1 minute it's a horror movie, next people are making jokes.
I mean, you went from a fucking horror movie to a guy playing with his dismembered hand.
Right, and acting like it's completely normal.
What happened there? Just everything in that movie. Like, they hyped the movie to be, this is the explanation for everything that's going on in this franchise. And then it made me more confused than anything. I was like, what? You just fucking ruined it all for me.
Yeah.
All you did was fuck it up more.
Better off pretending it just doesn't exist.
Like, it would have been better off if not a Cloverfield movie.
Right. And I don't think it was supposed to be at first.
Mm-mm. They say it was, and the plan was to keep it under wraps, but I really don't think it was either. Because you could tell all that shit was reshot. Everything that had to do with the original movies, reshot. Because none of it feels like it belongs in the movie.
Yeah, it was...
Somebody said, let's buy that movie from them, and we'll turn it into our movie. And add our shit in to make it make more sense. No. Fuck that. Like, when I watch... Cloverfield 1 is one of my favorite movies ever made. Flat out. I love that movie so much. I love that fucking genre of movies. I have a guilty pleasure with fucking found film. It's great to me. I love it. And that movie is the best found film movie. The only other one that comes close is Chronicle for me. I like Project Almanac a lot too. But Chronicle, that, maybe Project Almanac, those are by far the best. And then I have only watched 10 Cloverfield Lane in bits, but I love it a lot from what I've seen of it. So I need to sit down and watch it all together once. But it's really good from what I've seen. So when they made this movie, I was just like, why?
Got excited when it was announced. And
I know. We were at work. We worked together with it at the time. It was like one of the last couple weeks we worked together. Sat down, saw the trailer came out. Didn't even have time to make a reaction video because it came out so fast. Got home from work that night, literally turned it on as soon as I got home. Watched it and said, what? Went back and rewatched it in chunks in the next couple hours trying to figure out what happened, thinking it would explain it. It doesn't.
The last shot of the movie is cool, though, where you get to see the monster breach from the clouds.
See, and it looks like, the thing is, though, that bugs me about that scene, it was a reshoot for sure. They definitely added that way later. You could tell, that was not supposed to be in there. There's no way. There is no way that part was supposed to be in the movie. They just did that to make it tie in the Cloverfield.
I mean, yeah.
You could tell. That shot's cool, yeah. I give you that. Like, it's a cool looking shot. But it literally had to be added so late. There's no way they had that originally planned. Just by the way they did everything else. And if this is honestly how the monster got there is by splitting dimensions,
I mean...
how does that make sense?
Who knows? The movie doesn't understand how it did it either, so why should we?
Like, just tell me it's an alien. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Came from space. Fine. It's perfect.
Makes a lot more sense that way.
You don't have to go out and give it this long bullshit continuity and all that.
It's a monster you see for 5 minutes in one movie. Not that big a deal.
You see him a little more than 5 minutes. At least you see his effects. You don't really see the whole monster itself more than 5 minutes, but you see the last 20 minutes of the movie, you see a lot of monster, but like you see his effects that he's having, which is kind of what makes that movie so good. Is because instead of focusing on the monster, it focused on what was going around and what the monster was causing from the normal people running around on the street's point of view. I think that's what I like so much about it. It's because I don't know, it felt cool. Like, it's not like a Godzilla movie. Like, you look at a Godzilla movie and you only want to see Godzilla fight things, which is one reason I'm slightly disappointed in the newest Godzilla, but anyways. Like, that's what makes those movies good. But you always wonder, like, it's not, okay, with Godzilla, when you see people, it's usually, Gojira, and they're down on the ground doing nothing, and it flashes right back to Godzilla. Like, that's how the Japanese movies are. It's exactly what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we don't give a shit. But when you take a movie that actually has interesting characters and focus on them rather than the monster, and shoot it the way they did, the found film works perfect for that kind of movie that they were going for. That's what makes it so good. Because instead of, like, you really feel the fear in these people because they know that their whole home is just destroyed and fucked.
some giant aliens attacking.
Yeah, I mean, like, you generally feel the fear of that movie from those people. I think that's why I like it so much. I don't know, though. I think that about wraps this video up. I was pretty surprised we had I didn't know if you were going to put it number 1, but I knew we'd have that both on our list. I think we bitch about that movie all the time, honestly. Anytime we talk about bad movies, that movie comes to mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, like always. If you have any comments, want to write your worst movies of 2018, I'd like to hear that. Even though disappointing or worse, whatever you want to put. To me, these are disappointments, not worst. Except Cloverfield. That is the worst movie. It's disappointing and the worst movie. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day.